compels you! The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
If you've seen any exorcism movie, you basically know the story. If you haven't, it goes a little something like this. A young girl begins exhibiting unusual behavior and physical ailments. After a series of medical evaluations, doctors conclude that the girl is not physically sick, but mentally ill. The girl becomes bedridden and, for some reason, only wears nightgowns. Her symptoms are getting worse, and the little lady will do things that will shock you. Finally, with nowhere else to turn, her parents, or parent, will admit that it could be demonic possession and find a priest. The girl will be bound to her bed, and the priest will begin the exorcism. It will get messy. But ultimately, the demon is expelled and she's back to her normal life in no time. The victims of exorcism films are always pure, innocent, and virginal. They are also always in between the ages of 11 and 18, early adolescence, the age when a young girl's body begins to sexually mature. Think of Regan in The Exorcist. Regan is an angelic and innocent 12-year-old girl who we can see is in the early stages of puberty. You know, the awkward preteen stage.
What you do today?
Stuff. What's that stuff? Well,
When possession by the demon Pazuzu takes place, Regan's physical appearance transforms, and not in the way it's supposed to at her age. This trope exists outside of typical exorcism films. Take the 1976 film Carrie. The opening scene shows Carrie getting her period for the first time. Shortly after, she acquires powerful supernatural abilities, i.e., Carrie's body reaches sexual maturity and she becomes a dangerous force.
The sour is mine!
fuck me!
Fuck me!
Sexualizing the body of the young girl is an important shock factor in these movies.
Reverend, how about a blowing job?
Some of the most unsettling sequences involve sexual acts being performed by the innocent girl. Audiences continue to be disturbed by images of adolescent girls exhibiting signs of sexuality because it carries a deeply rooted anxiety. As an adolescent girl goes through puberty, she begins to confront sexuality. Is there anything scarier than your sweet little girl reaching womanhood?
She isn't innocent!
Let's not forget how all these possessed girls come from non-traditional home and family situations.
As I mentioned in my letter, my wife died 2 years ago. It was quite a shock, especially for Nell. I mean, she was 14 years old, just coming into young womanhood.
I guess if your parents are still together, a demon can't find you.
Doesn't even call his daughter on her birthday, for Christ's sake. Maybe the circuit is busy. Oh, circuit's my ass. He doesn't give a shit.
So, in The Exorcist, Chris MacNeil is divorced and raising her daughter alone. When Regan becomes possessed, Chris transitions from the strong, independent woman she was at the start of the film to a desperate and weak woman unable to save her child alone. It is only when 2 male priests intervene that Regan is able to be saved. Okay, so once the girl appears to be at the age of childbearing, she's subsequently deemed to be possessed, and her only hope is to have a priest perform an exorcism. Think of it this way. A girl reaches sexual maturity, and a demon takes her body by force, makes her do heinous and disturbing things, and the only way she can be saved is in a nightgown, in her room, chained to her bed, while 2 grown men physically and verbally assault her. Does that remind you of anything? These reoccurring images in exorcism movies are illustrating that demons are more powerful than women. Men are more powerful than women, and both parties are in control of her body.
It's he who commands you.
And this is not a recent idea. The female body as a site for demonic possession appears in many texts throughout history. In her book, Exorcising Demonic Disorder, Nancy Cassiola explains that medieval exorcisms purposefully chose women as victims to theatrically display the Catholic hierarchy of power in action. Nancy Cassiola wrote, exorcisms were advancing particular claims of priority for his sex, male, his status, clerical, and his power source, divine. At the same time, the exorcism is designed to emphasize the salutary subordination of the female. The nature of exorcism rituals perpetuates age-old ideas regarding gender roles and sexuality. So these medieval theatrical displays were meant to remind people that if this gendered power structure was disrupted, terrible things would happen. To this very day, the exorcism film genre continues to use the same formulas to visually compare good to evil, holy to unholy, and men to women.